Welcome to part 2 of developing the external plot. Last time we talked about developing the external goal, and this week we're going to talk about developing the external motivation. I'm taking it one part at a time so that you can really absorb it and apply these lessons. I encourage you to go download the free master plot plan that's on my website. Link is below and in my bio. This will help you kind of corral all your thoughts and get it all down on paper. All right, so let's get right to it. First, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these great videos. Section 2 is motivation. And what is motivation exactly? In the simplest terms, it is the because. It is why the character is doing what they're doing, why they are going after this goal. So let's backtrack a teeny bit about what a goal is. A goal is formed by some kind of trouble or catalyst that comes into the character's life and forces them on a different path or in a different direction. So once that happens, they have to do something, either change the situation or solve the puzzle or whatever it happens to be. That becomes their goal. Like when Dorothy is whisked away in the tornado and lands in Oz, her new goal becomes to get back home, to find the wizard and get back home. So that catalyst of the tornado launched her onto a whole new path, literally a yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
You have to have the goal before you can figure out the motivation, because the goal has to have enough meat to it, enough depth, enough importance to the character to motivate them to get off their couch and go after it. Just like I talked about last week with Shrek and the fairy tale creatures. When they are dumped into his swamp, that is a catalyst for change for him, because now he has to go out into the world and get those fairy tale creatures removed. But what is his motivation for that? It's pretty simple. He's an ogre. He likes his space. He likes his mud showers and eating bugs and, doing his own thing every day. Doesn't want other people in his space. That's his simplest motivation. We're also going to delve in a later video about internal motivation, but I will touch on it here for you so we can start talking about it. Shrek's internal motivation is his emotional why, and his internal motivation for wanting those fairy tale creatures out of his swamp. Everybody who knows him is scared of him.
It's hideous!
And trying to kill him. You cannot blame Shrek for wanting some privacy. That motivation is enough to get him out of his chair and on the road to Duloc, where there are people with pitchforks that want to kill him.
Oh, that's not very nice.
So obviously the motivation was strong enough to get him to face some things that he's afraid of. If you watched my character video series, we talked a little bit about what your character's fears are and what they're going to face and overcome in order to achieve their goal. Readers want to root for them. They want to see them going after it and really getting what they deserve. You've got to give them a deep reason for what they're doing. For your writing exercise, I want you to list 6 reasons why your character wants to achieve this goal. And if it's hard, you're doing it right. And the reason why I do 6 is that I want you to dig deeper, more so than just, okay, he needs to save the world. Great, but why does he need to save the world? Because his girlfriend's been injured, or because the aliens killed his mother, or whatever that happens to be. You keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you do 6, you will undoubtedly come up with some emotional reasons behind what the character is doing. Now, those are internal motivation, because internal is all the emotional things. But it's good to start getting that down on paper so you know where you're going. If you're struggling with this, there are a couple of questions in the master plan that you can ask yourself. Like, why has this trouble come into the character's life? Why did this happen? Did they do anything to bring it about? Is it partly their fault? In The Blade Itself by Marcus Saki, which is a really great book, Danny's past comes back to haunt him at the worst possible time. So things he did in the past reflect what is happening in the present day in the book. So the character did some things that brings about the catalyst that starts everything. That motivation also feeds into the reasons why the character wants to achieve this goal. So for, say, John McClane in Die Hard, he has a whole bunch of hostages up there. It's not just about his soon-to-be ex-wife. It's about all of the other people too. And then all the people that are trying to kill him. That gives him a motivation to get up there to the bad guy so that people stop trying to kill him.
Oh, that's not very nice.
There's a lot of things at play here. And so for another writing exercise, I want you to think a little bit deeper if you can and come up with 6 reasons why this character is going to step outside their comfort zone and go after this goal. Save everything you put in here because you can use it to develop some depth in your scenes. We'll talk about that in a future video. People ask me all the time, should my character know their motivation? I don't think they know their deep motivation.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't think that Shrek actually thinks about the fact that people are always trying to kill him when he goes to Duloc to try to get the fairy tale creatures out of his swamp. His reason for going to Duloc is because the fairy tale creatures are interrupting his privacy and his schedule, and they're using his stuff and eating his food. So it seems like a very surface motivation at first. And most of us really only think about the surface motivations. We don't generally dig deep into why we're doing stuff.
Oh, no.
So your character may not be aware of it, but here's the thing. You as the author need to be aware of it so that you can lay all of those breadcrumbs that help the reader really connect and get it. Another question I get a lot is, can the character's motivation change? For sure it can, as circumstances change in the book. In Disturbia, Shia LaBeouf, however you say his name, initially just wants to watch the neighbors because he's bored. He's on house arrest and he's bored, so he's kind of just being nosy. And then the guy next door seems kind of fishy, so he starts watching him for that. And then he sees a lady go in the house and not come back out, so he's It's like, ooh, maybe this guy killed somebody. Then when the neighbor threatens his mother and threatens him, that's when his motivation changes and becomes personal. And then he will do whatever it takes to stop this guy. So the motivation got stronger and stronger as the movie went on. So yes, you can change it if you start to change or tweak the circumstances in the book. The final thing that we're going to be doing in this series is conflict, which will be video 3. But just for now, to kind of have a writing exercise that helps get you on that conflict path, I want you to think about the forces outside of your character's control that are getting in the way. Again, this is a writing exercise. List 6 things that are getting in their way. Like in Taken, Liam Neeson doesn't know the language. The guy at the airport dies right away without giving him the information that he needs. There's a lot of things that get in his way. All these outside forces he has no control over. Like what the bad guys are doing, he cannot control. He can just try to find them and hunt them down. If you're having trouble with any of this, which is normal, lots of people do, I want you to watch a movie or read a book and figure out the main character's external goal. Go back to the last video so you get the hang of what that is. What is their external goal and why do they need to achieve it? If you start doing this with everything you read and watch, it will help you develop that innate sense of what goes into your plot. So that's it for part 2. Be sure to check out part 1 and come back for part 3. And if you want more on characters, check out my series on characters and the free character download that I have for you also on my website in the bio and in the description of this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the other side of the page.